In the words of Wesley Kenneth Stafford, an advocate for children and former CEO of Compassion International, if we nurture the dreams of children, the world will be blessed. If we destroy them, the world is doomed. This aptly emphasizes the need for childcare and protection. You're watching NAPTIP On The Move. My name is Angela Agbuigi. NAPTIP leaves no stone unturned in ensuring the welfare and well-being of survivors at the shelter. The agency planned a series of events to mark the Children's Day celebration. Our package today will bring you sights and sounds of these events. But first, we start with a workshop on evidence-based parenting support to help Nigerian parents raise their children to reach their full potential in life. Don't go away.
The Director General of NAPTIP, Professor Fatima Waziri Azi, was the guest speaker at a workshop on evidence-based parenting support to help Nigerian parents raise their children to reach their full potential in life. The workshop, which held in Abuja, was organized by the Oxford Policy Engagement Network and the Global Parenting Initiative at the Department of Social Policy and Intervention, University of Oxford. The workshop was aimed at pulling together stakeholders to set the stage for the development of a national parenting policy document to equip and inform parents and guardians on sustainable parenting skills and practices that would efficiently aid in the emotional, physical and mental development of children in the society. In her address, Professor Waziri Azi highlighted the mandate of NAPTIP and its role in child protection.
Let me start by thanking Dr. Awa for inviting me to this workshop, which in many ways keys into the work we do at NAPTIP. When it has to do with children in our work, we see a lot of child labor cases, we see a lot of defilement of children, we see a lot of domestic servitude where people hire underage kids to work in the home. And we see a lot of debt bondage as well. So that is when you hire somebody, then pay somebody else like an agent. Then we also see a lot of orphanage trafficking. So this is where people go to rural places and urban poor communities and collect other people's children and tell them that, oh, I have a better opportunity for your child to come to the city and go to school. But rather they put them in homes, they put them in centers and pass them off as orphans, where well-meaning Nigerians will come and probably give donation to these orphanages, or they even give them out without their parents even knowing. Then we also have a lot of buying and selling of children, but in this instance we have a lot of young kids as young as 9 months, 10 months, stolen from the northern part of Nigeria and sold to other parts of the country. Then we also have a very disturbing trend, which is the use of children for alms begging. Just a month ago, I think a little over a month ago, we did a sting operation around the Yanya axis, where we arrested a woman with about, I think, 3 or 4 toddlers. These are kids as young as 9 months old. And what she does is, including her own toddler, she also rents other people's babies. pass them off as orphans, or not orphans, like she passes herself off as a poor person, and she hires these children for 3,000 naira a day. So they pay the parents 3,000 naira. So these are the kind of things we see, very disturbing trend that we see, not just in the FCT, but across Nigeria. So we work and interact a lot with families and communities. We provide counseling and alternative dispute resolution at the family and the community levels.
She also expressed the need for a parenting policy.
There's a gap in terms of a deliberate, evidence-based and sustainable strategies targeted at supporting parents or understanding the needs of parents so that they can better provide and protect their children, and also strategies that enhance that parent-child relationship. This is sorely lacking. We have handled many cases of parents who just snap and come down hard on their children and words, and many of these sad situations would have been avoided if this parent had received the necessary parenting support that they needed. I remember a case from last year where about 5 children were rescued from their mother. So this is their biological mother. And when these kids were brought to the headquarters before they were transferred to our shelter, you could see that these kids had been visibly abused for a very long time. And the most pathetic part of it was her oldest, who was at that time 10 years. So she had a 10-year-old boy. She locked this boy in a room for 1 week without food or without water. She used all sorts of metals and whips to brutalize this boy. Even the baby, even the toddler, had visible signs of abuse on her body. And just a little bit of counseling, we realized that this woman needed serious mental support. The reality is that parents and caregivers really need support, especially single income homes or single parent household. So we need programs, we need sustainable programs that empower parents. Take for instance, we are beginning to see incremental cases of child sexual assault materials on the internet, and also issues of sextortion. So as a country, as a people, we need to be proactive rather than reactive to these issues. We are always good at reacting when something happens. You see everybody jumping all over the place. How about being proactive? How about putting systems and mechanisms in place to prevent issues like this from occurring? This is the only strategy that will ensure that we see a progressive and healthy society. So let me end by stating that NAPTIP is always ready and willing to collaborate in this area.
The Director, Head of Gender, Adolescents, School Health and Elderly Division, Family Health Department of the Federal Ministry of Health, Dr. John Ovwaraye, spoke on behalf of the ministry.
The Federal Ministry of Health actually have been looking forward to a program like this. There are so many things that parents ought to do, but they are not doing it very well. And because they are not doing it very well, so most of our kids are vulnerable. Oxford Policy Engagement Network and the Global Parenting Initiative have done well to bring this program to us. Because these are some of the things that we as people often tend to say, it's so common. Parenting, I'm already a parent, so I know everything about parenting. It's not like that. They have been able to see that many things are going wrong. We are deviating from the norms. We are deviating from the values. We are deviating from those things that hold us together as a family. And then parenting could be an issue that they need support. Parenting policy document, do we need it? Yes. It will provide proper parenting care, and then it will also help to point out something that on how to nurture the offspring or the children and making sure they achieve their full life potentials.
Speaking on the objectives of the workshop, the Head of Advocacy, Global Parenting Initiative and convener, Dr. Isang Awa, highlighted the dangers of lack of parental guidance and the need for a parental support program.
43% of children under 5 years old living in low and middle income countries are at risk of not achieving their developmental potential. And of course, we know that Nigeria is very much affected. The consequences of adverse childhood experiences, there are many, and they affect children in so many ways. Violence against children is real, and whatever anybody, evidence, there's research that it affects children. From poor mental health, anxiety, depression. I'm sure we read about these things in the papers every day. Poor child development, school failure, some children drop out of school, or even when they are continuing school, they cannot excel and do as well as they would ordinarily. Alcohol and drugs, that's still an outcome. Youth violence, risky behavior. Some children turn to all sorts of things when they are battling different issues. Poor maternal and child health and nutrition, intergenerational transmission of violence, offending. We read about, I'm sure we're all familiar with gender-based violence, but it all starts with what children witness in their homes, violence in the home. So they grow up to become perpetrators of violence. So rather than, talking about these things when it's already happening, we can address many of these things from the foundation through parental programs. The good news is that there is evidence and knowledge on how to address these things. So we don't need to wait and say, what do we do when there's gender-based violence? We can prevent it through parenting programs. And our vision at the Global Parenting Initiative, and even for Parenting for Lifelong Health, is that every parent, including every Nigerian parent, will have access to free evidence-based playful parenting support that improves child development and education outcomes and prevents family violence. So that is our vision. We want everyone to benefit from this. And parenting programs do not only, improve outcomes for children, but it also, one of the things I really want to emphasize is that it creates a close bond between parents and children.
There were other presentations and discussions on the way forward and how to domesticate the parenting support policy in Nigeria. The highly impactful and interactive forum had in attendance officials from various ministries, departments and agencies, including Federal Ministries of Health, Education, Youth and Sports, Women Affairs, NAPTIP, as well as WHO, UNODC and UNESCO.
An impactful workshop indeed. It's time to bring you some tips on parenting.
I want to share a few tips on how we can protect our children from traffickers. I know some of us might think these are things we read about and it can't happen to me. And yes, of course, but the truth is that it happens to the best of us. And it may not happen when the child is still young, but we also hear cases that teenagers are lured and lured to places like Italy and Libya and other places, with promises that we have a job, a fantastic job, you're going to be earning money in foreign currency, you'll go back home, and be able to share dollars and so on. But it's important that right from when our children are young, you talk to them about child traffickers. Tell them that traffickers lie to people to get them to work, to children to get them to work or to have sex with them, and that they could come dressed. It could be a man, it could be a woman. Sometimes when we think about traffickers, we want to think it's just men, but women actually also are involved in this. So we need to let our children know these things actually exist. They do happen. And if children know about this right from when they are young, tell them this is the reality, this is the world that we live in. They are better prepared and are in a position to be able to, not to fall victim of these things. I think it's important to teach your children, let them ask for the photo ID of the person. Trust your instincts. If you feel that something is not right, trust your instinct and teach them. Especially, I know things are hard in Nigeria. Many people want to go abroad, and it's so easy to fall to, any enticement. I have a job, you will go out, you will earn money. So that you need to teach your children, traffickers come with these lies. That's not the way to go about it. Go to school. When you're done with school, if you want to go abroad, this is the right way to go. Maybe apply for a scholarship, go continue schooling or get a job, but don't fall victim to that. I have a job somewhere. And one way that you can prevent this also is by keeping your children, having a great relationship with your children, because in many cases teenagers, they don't tell their parents the information they get, because they know the parents are likely going to frown against it. But if you have a warm positive relationship with your child, it's so easy for your child to confide in you and say to you, oh, there's this man who's contacted me on Facebook, or there's this person that I met here that says he can help me to get a job in Italy, or help me to travel outside. And then you'll be able to advise your child, let's go meet this person, and you'll find out that the person just suddenly disappears. But if you have been very harsh with your child and you don't have a relationship, your child will not tell you what's going on. So along with these tips on preventing child trafficking, I really want to emphasize the need for positive parenting. Positive parenting, a warm, nurturing relationship with your child. It will also help go a long way in preventing child trafficking, because when you tell your children these things, they will listen, and again, they will tell you the things that are happening in their lives, and you'll be able to give them advice which can prevent them from becoming victims of child trafficking.
Now let's take a look at the NAPTIP Children's Day celebration. Keep watching.
The NAPTIP lineup of events for Children's Day celebration started with the 5th edition of the Survivors Co-Mentoring Series tagged I Am Precious, a mentorship program for survivors at the NAPTIP shelter. Acting Director, Counseling and Rehabilitation, Angela Agbayekai, welcomed all present.
It's my pleasure to welcome you to this program. This is the 5th edition of this program, but I want you to count yourself very lucky to be part of this 5th edition, because this is a very special one. We are going to have an opportunity to be counseled by the doctors in the house and of course the staff of the department. So on behalf of myself, I want to thank everybody that has been out time to be here. Thank you so much. We appreciate you.
The Oxano Foundation team were also in attendance. The first presentation on I Am Precious, Knowing Who You Are Beyond Your Scars, was made by Olufunjo Owasanoye, Executive Director of Human Development Initiative, who joined the forum online. This was followed by a survivors-led discussion on I Am Not What Happened to Me, I Am What I Choose to Become by Roslyn Enobong Okon, Gender Project Assistant from the Nigeria Economic Summit Group.
I am precious. I am precious. I am special. I am special. Each day I promise. Each day I promise to do my best. To do my best.
The singing session was led by the NAPTIP Teenage Ambassador, Mariam Babatunde. Rita Uwasan from the Human Rights Advocate Civil Center for Peace, Justice and Development shared her experience with the survivors. The sessions were very interactive, and then the team from Oxano Foundation took over for the session on mental and psychological clinic as well as physical examination.
Happy Children's Day!
On the next day, 27th of May, the Director General of NAPTIP, Professor Fatima Waziri Azi, led the survivors to the Silverbird Cinema, where they watched a movie. They had lots of fun, but then there was more at the shelter. A party. There were songs, cultural dances, Lots to eat and drink, and gifts to remember the day. Having had enough fun, the survivors were extremely happy.
I'm very happy for everything they have done for us in this shelter.
Well, I enjoy myself today. All of us will enjoy ourselves, especially where we went today. We watched movie, and is similar like how NAPTIP have rescued us. The movie is just like they rescue some people who are in trouble, children's. So that movie, I learned a lot from that movie, and I realized how NAPTIP have helped us all those while, and they are trying to help us to make sure that we are okay, we are comfortable, no trouble, nothing, the traumas. They are helping us with the counselings. I really thank NAPTIP and I appreciate Director General for everything that she has done for us. She has really been a mother to us. She's kind, we love her, and we tell her thank you, ma, God bless you.
The officials of NAPTIP had a word for parents.
We celebrated our children, our wonderful children, despite the fact that they are not with their parents, but we are here doing, serving as their parents. So we decided to mark the Children's Day for them so that they will not feel left out. The advice I have for parents out there is that as we are celebrating children, that they should know that these children, they are very, very important. We should not take them for granted.
World over, it's a celebration for the children. I want to specially thank the Director General of NAPTIP, Professor Fatima Waziri Azi, who has graciously put all of this together for the children. It's all about the children. So I want to specially use this opportunity to appeal to parents out there. Children are gifts. They are gifts from God. And so when we get them, we should take care of them. We should go out of our way to ensure that we protect them, we assist them, and we make them better people in the society. If you look behind me, you see the children that are behind me. They are very excited today, but they all came from homes. And so today being Children's Day, they are supposed to be in their homes with their parents, but they are here with us in the shelter. We in NAPTIP, led by the able Director General, Professor Waziri Azi, we are going to ensure that these children get the best out of life, no matter what the world has thrown at them.
NAPTIP employs a holistic approach in the protection of victims. Their well-being and welfare is paramount to the agency.
NAPTIP's zero tolerance to human trafficking and violence against persons informs the agency's zealous prosecution of offenders. In just 5 months, the agency has secured 37 convictions and counting.
The Federal Capital Territory High Court, presided over by Honorable Justice M. Osho Adebiyi, has sentenced one Vincent Onyeke to 25 years imprisonment without option of fine for the rape of a 13-year-old girl. In Maiduguri, the Federal High Court, presided over by Honorable Justice J.K. Dagat, has sentenced a 25-year-old man, Abbagoni Bukar, to 2 years imprisonment and a fine of 100,000 naira for the sexual exploitation of a minor. NAPTIP has secured 37 convictions and counting for the year 2023. Every day, NAPTIP receives reports on all forms of violence against persons, diverse cases of domestic violence, rape, incest, physical abuse, especially child abuse. NAPTIP is leaving no stone unturned to ensure that victims are compensated and offenders severely punished. But NAPTIP needs a lot of support. The VAP Act will be most effective if all states adopt the Act as law. Then, victims shun the culture of silence and report to NAPTIP. Call NAPTIP today on 0703 0000203 or the toll-free short code 627. NAPTIP, ensuring a human trafficking and violence-free nation.
Before we say goodbye, let's bring you an account of a victim.
I'm 36 years old. I'm a mother of 4 children. My mother was maltreating me. That was why I ran out from the house. So, as I ran out from the house, I was walking on the street. I was sleeping under the bridges, begging for people to help me. One guy that picked me under the bridge. The guy helped me to come to Abuja to meet my brother, but he paid for the transport for me to come up here. I cannot locate my brother, so he now helped me to get to NAPTIP, so NAPTIP can help me out. My advice is to girls out there, wherever they find themselves, they should keep hope on God. They should live happily in their marriage home, as in the husband should stop beating their wives, stop maltreating their wives, and also the wives should be obedient to their husbands. What I have to say to NAPTIP is, since they keep me, they will be helping me. I want to tell them that anything they are doing to me is God that are doing it, and it's God that will richly reward them. Because I'm a poor child, I have nothing to offer, I have nothing to pay back, but it's God Almighty that will richly pay them back.
For more inquiries and support, or to report cases of suspected human trafficking, violence against persons, and child abuse, please call NAPTIP hotline 0703 0000203 or the short code 627, or email us info@naptip.gov.ng. Visit our website www.naptip.gov.ng. Follow us on our social media platforms at NAPTIP Nigeria, or watch our videos on YouTube.
That's the size of our package today. Thanks for watching, and keep a date with us same time next week. I'm Angela Agbegi. Bye for now.